Good evening. I'll call to order the February 21st, 2023 Piedmont Community Charter School Board of Directors meeting. The mission of Piedmont Community Charter School. Piedmont Community Charter School is a tuition-free K-12 school that offers a superior college preparatory education experience for this community and its families. If you will please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Are there any public comments? No public comments. Item 4, awards and recognition. Ms. Wilson.
Okay. New playground equipment was delivered at the elementary campus last week. This was purchased with profits from the Boosterthon fundraiser over the last 2 years, and the students can't wait to see the final result in about a week or so. Senior Grace East scored her 1,000th point in her high school basketball athletic career. She received a commemorative ball on behalf of PCCS. Congratulations to Grace.
That's great.
Fifth grader Raya Matani won first place in the Piedmont School Spelling Bee. The competition included spellers from 4th grade through the 8th grade. So we congratulate Raya on her wonderful accomplishment. The high school dance team attended the North Carolina Scholastic Dance Festival in Greensboro and placed first in the categories of hip-hop, jazz, and contemporary. Senior Sarah Montreal was recognized for her student choreography piece. Overall, Piedmont ranked 6th in the statewide competition. So very proud of the dance team. And lastly, Piedmont had 5 students who qualified for all-district honors band: Matthew Panetta, Claire Phillips, Peyton Earls, John Phillips, and Lucas Holland. This was a very prestigious opportunity for these students, and we're very proud of them.
Thank you. That's great. Item 5, approval of previous minutes. Does anyone have any questions or comments about the minutes from January 17th? I'll hear a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The minutes are approved. Thank you. We need to do a little bit of housekeeping here, so I'd like to move 6E, Facilities Committee report, up to basically be 6A. We have a visitor. Go ahead and let him present and get on out of here. And then we also need to add, under the head of school report, review and approval of the calendar. Any questions on that? Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we adjust the agenda to your request.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, 6, the new A, normally E, Facilities Committee report. Ms. Malden?
So tonight we have Kevin Gorman here with Sun Studio, and he has been working on the design for the parking lot renovation at the middle school campus. So I would like to invite him to come up, and I guess we'll pull the screen down so we can see. There's 2 things. One is what the city is planning to do right there at this intersection, and then the plan for the parking lot and kind of how we had to merge the 2. So, Kevin, you want to come on up?
Right. Should we go into the audience now?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Could you guys hear me?
Yep.
So I don't know how much all of you have been in the loop on what they're planning out here, but this plan is the current proposed plan for New Hope, which is basically this section through here. They're turning it into what's kind of known as a super street corridor, which is basically reduced conflict movement. So the original plan that I found from a year or two ago that they had a meeting on did not have that turnaround on your campus, but the current plan has the turnaround right there in front of the campus. So what that does is they're eliminating the driveway there. So that becomes a controlled access location. And then the driveway at the vet, basically you're not able to make a left out of there anymore. So like it's going to be landscaping out in the middle. Doesn't show very well, but that is a green island out there in the middle of the road. So basically when people come back out, they have to make a right, go up the road to the next signalized left over, and then make a U-turn and come back down if they're trying to go to the left on this plan right here. So it does change the traffic as you approach the campus, from how people may come in the mornings, I think, and then particularly as you're leaving. But if you guys have ever been on this type of corridor anywhere in the state, like it looks weird and it's disruptive, but it does keep traffic moving on that road. It just may make it, it's going to change how you get in and out on the campus. So what we did, so that's current. Now I did ask for the electronic version of what they have currently, and I just got that in today, but I've not had a chance to bring it into AutoCAD to verify that that is still what they're proposing, but I believe it is, based on the last public meeting, and that's the plan. This matches up, I believe, what they sent you in the mail, which has that bulb out on there like that. So if you go to the next exhibit, so what I did is I took that and dropped it in. If you pan down, zoom out a little bit on it maybe, if you can. There we go. So how it affects basically is the 5th and 6th grade exit there in the afternoon and morning there. We have to get traffic back up and get them back out on the New Hope up there is kind of the big change in what we're looking at. So this current concept still has the 2 lines coming in and reduces, there's no conflict between those lines still, so there's no crossover or the need for a person to be standing there directing traffic. So everybody would still come in off of Titman Road at the north there, and then basically we could run. And one of the concepts early on, and I think it's probably a good idea, is we'll figure out how to stripe that shared access road, because it's like 35 feet wide in there, that we can have basically 3 lanes in there in the morning, and have a lane that's coming down to the 5th and 6th, and have the other lane peel off to go up for the 7th and 8th grade on the north side, and they would circle and go back out to the north. 5th and 6th would come down here and circle and go back out on the New Hope, but everybody's got to go out, make a right, and either keep going that way, or they'll have to go up and make a left at the signalized U-turn. That's when this gets built. In the interim, you can still come out and use the driveway that's down there like you are now, so that wouldn't change in the interim, but this plan would allow, it basically leaves that carve-out lane to get back up to that shared access point between the vet. It's probably the biggest difference between the last concept you've seen for this, but this current plan, as I've got it, is about 141 total parking spaces. There is not the city doesn't have, based on the school use, a minimum amount, so it really is whatever you guys feel like you need for staff and everything. And I don't know if we've ever really nailed down the number on that, but.
Does anybody have a feel for what we use day to day now? Because I know they're not using a lot of what's out there where this green and, the snake.
I don't know what's used every day, but the staff over there is between 60 and 70.
Okay.
And I think one of the key issues for them was just to be able to get out easier. You could probably speak to this better. But, once the line starts backing up, because people get there at 1 o'clock, ready to pick up. Then if the staff member needs to leave, like right at dismissal, they can't because they're just like locked in there. So I think if we put staff right up there at the top by Tippman, they could just pop out right there. Because the line wouldn't be blocking that area. So that was one of Ms. Richards' key requests. And this roundabout over here on the 7-8 side would be for the daycare vans to be able to kind of swing in and pick up and head out to.
Yeah, so there'd be a sidewalk along that kind of van parking area. And then I have not drawn in any other sidewalks yet. We can talk about that if you think they're needed, like to get staff in there. I mean, right now, obviously, it's just wide open asphalt, but this is going to add a fair amount of lawn and just green space out in the front over there. You could get a few more down in this clipped off version in the final down here on the south of the 5th and 6th. I have not added those in yet, but just because of in the interim, if you want to leave it open, you wouldn't do that. But if this plan gets fully implemented like this, we could add a few more spaces down there if you needed them. The lanes, the sort of snaking pathway that comes through there, it's 26 feet wide right now, just to give it a little more width. Because as you turn it, 2 cars through there, you need a little more room to make it a little comfortable, I felt like. So
So you do think that's big enough for 2 lanes, or is that just for 1?
no, so a normal 2-lane parking lot aisle is 24 feet. So I just made it a couple feet wider
Okay.
to make it a little more comfortable.
Okay.
And then ease some of their inside radiuses, so when people go around there, you're not like, doesn't feel like you're being boxed in, you know? So I can kind of refine that a little bit more before we go into the construction drawings. This, I haven't really looked at, I laid this out kind of like with what is going to work from a physical standpoint, but then also sort of holding the edges of what's currently out there from a pavement perspective. But I know we've talked about there's some really old lights and stuff out there that are probably going to have to be reconfigured with all this. So we would just place new ones accordingly. You either do that through Duke and have them come out as part of your monthly bill. We haven't really talked about how you want to handle that, but it's Duke serving the campus, right? Like, is that your
Is it city?
It's the city of Gastonia.
city? Do they have a lighting program, you know?
We'll have to look into
I
that.
bet they do.
Yeah.
Most places do. Like City Monroe, they have that too, where it's basically we can look at it a couple different ways, but what it does is it takes the cost of the lighting and puts it in your operating cost. So either you pay for the light up front on your own and have the contractor put it in, you own the light, then if something needs to be done, then you have to hire somebody to come out and fix it. Okay, but it's an upfront cost. The other way is you're basically leasing the light fixture, so you sign a deal for whatever it is, 10 years.
Yeah.
And the cost of the light's depreciated over the time, and in the end, it's cheaper to own the lights up front, but then you're dealing with,
The maintenance.
just like you are now, though, I'm assuming if there's a light out there now, you're calling somebody to, like a contractor to come fix it? Is that kind of the?
I think our facilities department kind of handle it, but.
So it's cheaper to own them up front,
Yeah.
but we'll work that out, but they are going to get impacted. But really, that's kind of the overview of how, and you are as a whole. So by the way, that white line is like a 10-foot wide multi-use path they're building along this corridor. So that sidewalk that's all along there now all comes out. So I think they have an easement on your property for that. So that'll go away. But you'll get more green space along that side of the building, but they're not giving you any of that right of way back. Like, they're still gonna keep control of it, but as a whole, the road is shifting a fair amount to the west.
Does anybody have any questions or comments on it?
I do. So everything makes sense for the parking lot. I mean, I like that, and I like the roundabout for the pickup of the buses and vans. So everybody's coming in off Tittman for drop-off and/or pickup, I guess, correct? Both
Yeah.
5th and 6th and 7th and 8th,
Which would be a big change.
which, that's huge.
Yeah.
So down here on New Hope, I guess going north, they're coming out there, but you cannot enter at that point, correct?
In the morning?
Yeah?
No,
pick up.
It's just, see, it's that green island they're putting in there, you won't be able to make a left turn off of, come south.
I'm talking about if you're coming from the south going north, can you turn right in there?
Yes,
Well, and you can also come in and stop at the light and do your UE and come in and take a right too, instead of taking a direct left. But then you would have that conflict right there
Of people coming out.
at the entry, right?
yeah, so you're gonna have to, what you're trying to avoid is those two lanes ever touching one another.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
the main communication would be that everybody comes in on the Tittman entrance, but then nobody's to come in
Right.
on this entrance. Because they're gonna, if somebody comes in there, they're gonna be right in the middle of,
Right. So what's the timing for the city or state or whoever's doing this? Are we trying to time up our construction for our parking lot to when they,
it'll never, so I mean, I just emailed them while I was sitting over here, the DOT guy that's handling it, the project manager, to ask him what their time frame is for construction. I don't have a hard date on it, but they are going into advanced, so they're getting ready to do soil borings on part of that frontage out there. So that's usually when they get to that point, they're advancing the design further
Right.
down. I just don't have a construction window yet that they've got scheduled.
so I guess my thing is communicating to parents is, even if we do ours this summer or whenever, then we'll introduce a new traffic pattern in the parking lot. However, they can still use New Hope until, and then we'll have to turn around and educate our parents again once it's,
I mean, I think that would have to be
Complete.
a decision.
I mean, if we didn't shut it down though, you would have that, like, as soon as somebody turns left in there,
Right.
there's gonna be an immediate conflict where the other people need to be waiting to let them through, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can either continue to operate like you kind of have been on this side, you know, or try and go ahead and just block it off, but I don't
But right
know.
now, the conflict point is on New Hope, right?
Yeah.
People stop,
yes.
let us turn left. I'm one of those people that turns left in there.
Yeah,
I
'cause
can, I'm sorry, I can sort of see it, a little bit of a conflict from the New Hope side because they're getting ready to build all those homes
Yes.
south of New Hope. And they're gonna be coming, they're gonna be going north New Hope and they're gonna hit that red light and they're gonna start backing up. And then the snaky part, they're not gonna be able to get out.
Well, but, so.
I mean, I know they're gonna turn right to get on Tittman, but that's gonna back up.
There's no light there
There
anymore.
won't be a light at Tittman and Hudson anymore.
It would go all the way up to Redbud and
We're
whatever that
talking
other
probably
road is.
3 years down the road.
But there'll be a turnaround somewhere between
Yeah.
the
There's
light
another-
and
yeah,
Redbud.
So there's another, on up the road, there's another signalized left.
That looks just like
they
that.
That's how people would go back down southbound, you know, like.
So between, I guess, that light and the grocery
Sonic
store.
and all that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, okay. So that's gonna put a lot more traffic, especially during drop-off and pickup on Tittman then.
Say that again.
It's gonna put a lot more of our traffic on Tittman Road.
Yeah, I mean, with
Yeah, if
this
you're
design, all of it goes onto
Right.
Tittman.
If you're coming from the north down here,
Mm-hmm.
you pretty much either, to get into your campus the way it is set up, like, you're gonna have to go on
Right.
Tittman to get in here. Because we don't want people coming down here doing this UE right here, the signal, and then going in, the campus right there, but.
Which,
I
like,
think-
to your point, I think once this is all finished, would flow and work, but like until then, I don't know that it's gonna, because of that light still being there and how it backs up every which way.
You said there's not gonna be a light there. Will there be a turn off of New Hope on the Tittman?
If you
up
zoom,
here?
can
Yes.
you go back to, can you go back to the other exhibit, that first exhibit? Sorry.
Sorry, maybe I'm making it complicated.
No, it is complicated. The whole
Can
thing,
you
once see
scroll to the right so we can see the whole intersection?
it. Yeah, see?
There's
Or-
the turn, okay.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, they do have a light right there.
but it's all signalized.
For a left turn, yeah.
It's all signalized. So this whole concept is to avoid conflicts. So like they're,
So if you're
it's
coming
all
from,
protected, like left turns on.
It's great if you're going straight on New Hope.
That's right. You're right.
That is the number one priority,
What
and
about coming
everything
from
else is
Hudson then?
secondary. Do what?
what about coming from Hudson?
Well,
You
yeah.
take a right, do a little loop-de-loop,
Do the
come
loop.
and take a right on Tittman.
It does, and I've been on these, and on the road itself, they do keep traffic moving. Because
Right.
the way they do the signals on these bulb outs, like, they're short, but they do them frequently, so you're not just sitting there forever. So they do kind of keep traffic moving, like he was saying, the priority is moving along this corridor, right? So it's gonna change just how you approach coming into your campus.
Okay.
But, and just to confirm, the red median going left to right, in the middle of New Hope, 279 right there, tells me, and everything else does too, but there is no going straight from Hudson to Tittman anymore. You do have to kind of
Right.
take your right, do a U, come back and
Yeah,
take a right.
everything
Right.
forces you
It's
to
just
do
going, you're just going around it.
Which I think will, so we come that way, I was thinking I'll just go Beatty and
Right,
hit
yeah,
New
that-
Hope and come down that
right,
way, 'cause
right.
just to avoid that. I think people are gonna start redirecting the way they get
Right.
places to kind of,
Okay.
to adjust, I guess.
Well, and I don't know have you talked to the people at the vet at all? Or?
No, I've been thinking about that too, because like when, we're kind of blocking that right entrance in the morning and afternoon, and people still come and go to that vet.
So I think, and that's where, I don't know, we just have to look at how we stripe it, but that road is wide enough for 3 lanes. So it might be a little weird, like in the morning, that you can run 2 lanes on the south side coming into school. But people coming to that vet could use that other lane, as long as they know that, like, in the morning, people are going one way on that road, basically.
Yeah.
So they could come in, go there, and come back out and leave. It's only for that
Short window,
short
yeah.
period of time,
I noticed that the vet had a sign up that they're working on, they're getting ready to work on something. Does anybody know what that is?
They had plans to build a addition, a pretty large addition. I don't know if that's changed since, we just bid it maybe 6 months ago. So I don't know if they're still moving forward, if they've changed it because of all this. I'm sure they knew about some of this beforehand, but,
I just didn't know if they're going to change their entrance.
I don't know. I'll make an appointment with Dr. Hovis and see what they've got planned.
I mean, the sidewalk is, I'll have to look at what the CAD file they sent me, but it does look like it gets a little tight right there on the corner of that parking lot that they have. So I don't know if they're losing any spaces as a result of this, but that
Oh, their
multi-use
parking's
path.
horrible already.
Hmm?
Their parking is horrible already.
Yeah.
I think he would be open to discussions about making it easier to get in and out. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think they would be cooperative, for sure.
Well, since it's a shared private easement, like you'll have to talk to them just to
Yeah.
make sure that everybody's plays nice in the sandbox, I guess. But, so that's kind of the overview, and I guess if there's general acceptance, that's kind of what I would move forward with, trying to develop like the plans to go to bidding and permitting.
I think, so Ms. Richards and Ms. Killen are at a conference this week, and so I definitely want to make sure that we've checked all their boxes with this, and then we could take a vote to move forward, after we
Yeah,
get their
that's fine.
feedback for sure. But do y'all have any other questions or? comment?
I'll comment as a middle school parent. I think we need to, whatever we do, our end goal, I think we need to start that way, because it's going to be hard to get parents to, once they start doing it, to change it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't, because it's shared, I don't know if there's any way, even in the morning, like elementary has a gate or that kind of thing. I don't know if that's a way that you could keep people from coming in that way, cones or something, but I think however we started off is how it needs to be, like our end goal.
We have a couple cones over there.
Yeah, I mean, there's what, you could do some temporary stuff like that. You can, I'm sure if on this driveway right here, if you wanted to completely disconnect it in this first phase, you could do that, but I don't know if you want to.
Like you said, it doesn't just affect us, so we would have to have some conversations, but yeah.
Well, I mean, on your
The top one that would be.
driveway where the bulb is now. but
Oh, the one that's gonna be,
If you wanted to go ahead and just like do it now and start, the city or the state rather would not have any problem if you wanted to do that, but you could also just put up something across there to keep people from coming in, you know?
yeah, we'll definitely have to figure out step by step what's best. Any other questions or comments? Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for
That's a
having me.
tough one.
Let me take a grocery store and turn it into a school. If you can pull that off, I think we can fix it.
We did have a long list of kind of must-haves or.
The date. Period ending January 31st, 2023. $377.20 leaves us with a net surplus for the month, $283,752.45. Any questions on that one? Okay. Next one, surplus and cash. As of January 31st, operating BB&T, $2,821,650.94. Our investment account was at $2,432,942.62. Petty cash had 1,000. So total cash, $5,255,593.56. Anticipated cash position, cash and investments on hand on 6/30/2022 was $5,661,187. Current year budgeted surplus, $818,256.43. Less fund balance appropriations of $510,396. Expected cash and investments on hand of 6/30/2023, $5,969,400. $47.43. Back out the amount at PNC investment account, $2,432,942.62. Leaves us with expected cash, June 30th, 2023, $3,536,104.81. Our U.S. bank accounts for the bond info on the far right under ending balance. Bond fund, $346,919.17. Debt service reserve fund, $1,794,007.62. Leaves us a total bond proceeds held at U.S. Bank, $2,140,926.79. Questions? All I got.
Thank you. 6B, Head of School Report.
Okay, there are a couple of things. The first item is the compliance submission report. So the top section there is the items that we have submitted to the Office of Charter Schools through Epicenter. The first thing listed was that we submitted that we have a current conflict of interest policy that is compliant. And then the next thing that we submitted was evidence of our civil and liability insurance that is also compliant. And the section below that has to do with our bond loan. This was all of those items are part of our quarterly submissions. This is all for the period ending 12/31/22. So we submitted financial statements for the quarter ended December 31st, 2022, quarterly statement of student count as a total and also broken down by grade as of December 31st, 2022, a statement that we did not have any changes in key personnel during that quarter, and also a statement of disclosure that we have no plans to expand or change the school, no litigation, no instances or activities of noncompliance with regard to the school's charter. And the next item is the enrollment report as of February 14th, and our total enrollment as of that date is 1,827. And the next item is the withdrawal law. The next item is the personnel report, and we do need to vote on that. We have a new elementary custodian to replace one of our custodians over there, our full-time custodian who moved out of state. So we have hired Dustin Jones, so that needs to be approved.
Any questions about the personnel report? I'll hear a motion.
Make a motion to approve the personnel report as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Personnel report is approved. Thank you.
Very good. And then the last item is the calendar for next year, for the 23-24 school year. This is the item that we added tonight. So this calendar is very similar to the current year's calendar. It's also very similar to the Gaston County Schools calendar. They just approved theirs at their last meeting. Basically, we're just keeping the pattern that we started this year of backing up the first day of school about a week so we can finish the first semester by Christmas break. And then we'll be out by Memorial Day as well. So very, very similar to this year.
Any questions or comments about the calendar?
I'll just add, it's got 172 full days of instruction. It has 2 half days. So the full days total 1,032 hours, and then another 6 hours for the half days. So total instructional hours are 1,038, and the amount required by the state is 1,025.
Great. Looks good to me. I'm glad we're keeping it that way and breaking it up. Getting the semester over before the holiday break makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
This does need approval. If there are no other questions or comments, I'll hear a motion.
Make a motion to approve the 23-24 school calendar as presented.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
And that's all I have.
Thank you. All right, 6C, Enrichment Committee report. Ms. Largent?
All right. The Enrichment Committee met Thursday, February the 9th at 6 p.m. via Zoom. We discussed mid-year testing data. The data was encouraging as all grade levels made growth from the beginning of the year to the middle of the year. The teachers used this data to improve instruction, create intervention groups, and guide tutoring. And at the high school level, we reviewed the final exam / the EOC data from 2022-2023.
Great. Thank you. 6D, Athletics Committee.
No committee report, however, I do have some news from Mr. Radford. We're finishing up winter sports. The girls' basketball team was the Metro 8 co-conference champion and made the state playoffs. The men's basketball team finished 4th in the conference and had a much better season than last year, and they should make the playoffs as a lower seed. The JV boys basketball team had a winning season, and spring sports are getting started with tryouts happening now for baseball, softball, men's tennis, girls soccer, and men's golf.
Great, thank you. 6F, Governance Committee. Michael's not here. Would you like to make any comments, or are you good?
Sure. I am finishing up the personnel policy, and I should have that ready for review for Mr. Satterfield to take a look at and be able to bring it to all of you at the next meeting. It's very long. Be prepared.
That's great. Thank you so much for doing that. That's a heavy lift for sure. That's great. Any other new business? All right. Well, the next board meeting is March 21st, 2023, back here at 7 p.m. Thanks, everyone, for being here, and we stand adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.